1, 0. All engine running.
From Dallas, Texas, the flash, apparently official, President Kennedy died at 1 p.m. Central Standard Time.
I am here to discuss the so-called flying saucer. The Air Force interest in this problem has been due to our feeling of an obligation to identify and analyze to the best of our ability anything in the air that may have the possibility of threat.
Just before 9 o'clock this morning in New York, a passenger jet which had taken off from Boston slammed into the World Trade Center. Thick black smoke blotted out the Manhattan skyline.
Tranquility Base here. The Eagle has landed. That's one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Esoteric Roundtable, and I say, Ben, I say we are the best Esoteric Roundtable, but my friend, we are not the only Esoteric Roundtable.
Indeed, it seems that there is another Esoteric Roundtable in our midst.
Yeah, man, and they called us copycats or something. I don't remember, but it was along the lines of calling us copycats. And to that, I say, fuck you. No, I really, I don't even know. We looked at the times that the channels were created, and they say around the same time. So I don't know what to tell you, man. Sorry, get good.
Well, when we made the channel name initially, their channel had nothing uploaded, and we created because our channel name did change. At first, it was another trademarked channel name that I'm not going to say out loud because I don't want to get sued. But we changed it after figuring out it was trademarked.
Yes.
This name was not trademarked, so we went with this name. And so sorry to the other podcasters. We wish you all the best, but we're the best.
Yeah, man. You know, if you randomly just come out and with fucking thousands of subscribers, I guess we'll change our name or something. But right now, we're good. We're gonna stick what we're doing. So we hope the best for you. Maybe we can just share it. You know, yeah. The Esoteric Roundtable is big enough for everybody to sit at, in my opinion. Anyways, Ben, what are we here to talk about today, dude? Because I'm pretty sure we hear some whispers of a little 3-letter organization. Some real bad fellows.
Some real mysterious
Except
fellows.
Stan Smith. He is a good fellow. We are, of course, talking about the CIA, the America's Central Intelligence Agency, which I struggled to spell earlier, showing my intelligence levels. But
and if you didn't know, Justin, founded by one of your favorite people ever, one of your favorite families, the Bushes.
Oh my heavens! I didn't think I could love him anymore. I didn't think I could love him anymore. So these guys are like dicks. I honestly, dude, you know what, Ben? It's funny I say this. I honestly couldn't even tell you what the fuck they're supposed to do. All I know is what they do is just not good.
Yeah.
Let's look up the CIA's
tell you what they normally
job. Do. Tell me the CIA's job, Ben.
The CIA, the Central Intelligence Agency. Now, there are other CIAs for other countries and things. Their whole goal is to gather intelligence from foreign entities or domestic that may pose a threat or may have something of interest to the federal government, particularly military operations, threats against our nation.
So does that involve like completely overthrowing governments for like banana companies and shit? Because that is what they do. Yeah, and
that's one of the things they do.
That is one of the things they do, and that doesn't mean that it's like a shining light in the good things that they do. They do worse things. These guys are just not good. Like, I would hate to be another country and have our CIA in there. You know what I'm saying? But anyways, before I keep heckling and not tell you why I think these guys are not very good guys, me and Ben have some stuff that we would like to talk about today. Because like Ben was saying, it's really not the only thing they do. They you know, they are professionals of many facets. So what would you like to start off with?
Let's start off with, I sent Justin a document. Justin, I forgot the name of the document. I don't even have it pulled up, which I probably should have it pulled up. What's the name of that document?
Is it the
Gateway.
analysis and gateway? Just look up CIA gateway. But yeah, so this shit is pretty crazy. I've heard other people talk about it before, but this shit is pretty insane. I've never looked at it before you to me.
Yeah, and
because I'm a
surprisingly,
Zoomer,
this
so
is
I don't actually read anything. I just form my opinions on
I
other people.
skim most things that aren't actual books and documents. Now, I found this in not the most suspecting of ways. I was doom scrolling one day on one of the old social. I think it was Twitter, which now it's X, but in my mind it's Twitter. But I'll call it X because I respect Elon. But it was a video and they were talking about this document. I was like, I've got to find this document. So it turns out it's a CIA declassified document. If you don't know, every once in a blue moon, if we're lucky and it's old enough, we'll get this we'll get some things declassified.
Yeah, they do that a lot, dude. They do it a lot. They'll be like, oh, hey, by the way, 25, 35 years ago, we did this super fucked up thing. Whoops, see how much we changed? Look at our diversity. What the fuck are we talking about, dude? Are we just going to pretend that they're still not doing this shit right now?
Yeah. Now, I still believe that there's things that they'll never declassify.
Oh, 100%. Like the Kennedy things or whatever. What's his name? Donald. He went into presidency.
Yeah.
He's like, I'm going to tell everyone about the Kennedy. I'm going to tell everyone about the moon landing and the aliens. He got in there and he's like, I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. They scared his ass, bro. They're like, hey, you're next. You want to talk about some JFK shit, bro?
Which
you can tell
been another big
they
topic.
didn't send the JFK team after his ass because he only got nicked. You know what I'm saying? They didn't send fucking Lee Harvey on him.
Yeah, a lot of political things happening historically in the past month that may or may not come up. We're not gonna get into partisan politics or anything, but it's been a historical month and a half, 2 months, something that we're gonna read about in the history books in probably the next 30, 40 years.
Sure,
and
man. It's happening a lot. It's just every time we fucking go to sleep and wake up, there's just like some huge event on. Ben just told me today
never seen
that there is some country invading some other country that just popped up.
Lebanon. Lebanon launched a massive invasion against Israel. So just every day we wake up and there's a plea deal that has been struck with the alleged mastermind of the 9/11 attacks. So that's another thing. Yeah. Whatever.
This poor fucking fellow.
Yeah.
I guess I shouldn't say that because maybe he had something to do with it. Maybe he like helped carry the actual actions out, but he wasn't the fucking mastermind.
Which the biggest red flag to me, bro, is they're like, oh, which I have a different view now, but for years they've been saying, oh, Osama bin Laden was the mastermind behind 9/11. Right. I hope I can say that name. Yeah. But Osama bin Laden, I'm talking about on YouTube.
Oh, yeah, I see what you
But Osama bin Laden was the mastermind behind 9/11. We took him out in whenever, was it 2011 or something like that? And now all of a sudden, the mastermind behind it is whatever. But anyway, the CIA, some of these documents end up declassified, and the JFK files that you mentioned have been another talk in recent weeks. If we'll ever see them, who knows? I would hope that at some point we do see those documents, but like with some of these though, like even some of the ones me and Justin have looked at, because we've looked at several. This is going to be one of many that we're talking about today. When some are declassified, and including the Hitler files that we did, with the Third Reich episode, the FBI declassified documents, we saw like a lot of names were whited out, and large portions would have white out and white tape over it where you can't see that information. So some things maybe
point of
declassified.
Like, yeah, we release it for sure. There's like 4 visible words on the entire document.
Yeah.
I appreciate the declassification.
Yeah. Anyway, this one, honestly, I've spent the last few days trying to make heads or tails of some of the things in here, because some of them just go right over my head. But from what I see, the gateway file, Justin, you want to share some of your thoughts on some of the things you see in this document and kind of let our viewers know?
Well, I'll say that at first I was like, all right, this has to do with just normal hypnosis shit, whatever. which a lot of it does. I mean, we're looking at some hypnosis notes right here. But what really got me, dude, is I just did a super quick scroll through and I got to the fellow homunculus, the century
Yeah,
homunculus.
that's what caught
And
my attention
a
too when I
little,
saw.
we're not going to say anything, but this is a little nod towards a direction that the channel is heading right now that we're super fucking stoked about. So when we saw this, we were like, it's just another sign. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So this shit is, and it honestly gave me a little bit more of an understanding of hypnosis as well. I have a little bit of here. It says, in my words, so fucking stupid dumb boy words. Hypnosis begins by, oh gosh, see, I'm already fucking up. The hypnosis chapter begins by explaining that hypnosis targets the pleasure receptors and pleasure center of the brain with the right side. It cuts off the flow of information back and forth side, where the rational brain would screen out any unrational information. So basically, the left side of your brain is like what tells you, like, hey man, this guy is just fucking waving a watch in front of you. You don't fall for this shit. You know what I'm saying? Don't listen to his words. But he's talking to the right side of your brain, and the right side is like, ooh, shiny metal object, go left, right. That's fucking cool, man. So that was a little bit, I'm an absolute, idiot. So that's what I was able to pick up from that.
I do have something I want to say on this. Now, a lot of people, when you bring up hypnosis, you're like, oh, that's a gimmick that like magician people use and things of that nature. And I was the same way up until a certain point. But when you think about it, when it blocks receptors for new information or other information, you're solely focused on one thing. You're stimulating your pleasure receptors. Even something like caffeine only works because it blocks the release of serotonin it blocks the serotonin being released into your body and to your whatever. I forget. I'm trying to word this where it makes sense.
Yeah.
But caffeine, because it blocks serotonin from being released. Therefore, you are more energized.
Gotcha.
So over time, like it happens with other things too, like with drugs, things like that. They may increase your output of certain hormones or certain things like dopamine, which is like gambling addiction or doom scrolling. So your brain is a very sensitive thing. When you're playing a game and you beat a boss that you've been fighting a long time and you feel that rush of excitement, that would be
every enemy
dopamine
that I face in Elden Ring.
So
Absolutely
everything
crushing
kind
it.
of has your brain and your psychology kind of has a reaction to everything you do. Anything you take in, anything you do, anything you hear, it has an effect on your mind in some way or shape or form. So this is to help wrap your mind around like, hey, hypnosis is a little more deep than just like, oh, you're in a trance. No, it's really playing on your neuroreceptors.
It really is. Like doom scrolling is a really good example. And you were just talking to me pre this, and we are gonna talk about it later. So I don't want to talk about too much. But there's lights, like they choose colors for these apps that you scroll past and ads, and it's like, oh, it's just randomized ads, quote unquote. Bullshit, dude. They're so just like they just hypnotize you in, man. And then like on Instagram, my algorithms, dude, and listen, everybody is just gonna be like, yeah, it's what you look at, it's what you like. But I see motherfuckers die constantly on Instagram.
Yeah.
To the point where I don't click on blurred videos anymore, and if I see one that is like a street cam in like fucking China or something, I'm scrolling away because there's no good outcome of that situation. It's just crazy, and I'll see like 15 of these things in a fucking hypnosis doom scrolling session, and I get off my phone and I'm in a shitty mood, bro. Because I just watched a bunch of people die. You know what I'm saying? And I feel it personally. So I'm personally withdrawing myself a lot from my videos. I've been doing just more. I've been trying to like read more. I've been painting like a fucking kindergartner. Absolutely suck. But it's just anything to get out of that, because it is really just drawing. You know what I'm saying? So that's my example of hypnosis.
This does play in really well. It directly relates to something of the topic of hypnosis, because anything can I want to say hypnotize you in a sense to where you're just otherwise you wouldn't be binge watching Netflix. You wouldn't be binge
like a
watching
distraction from the reality around
Yeah.
you. You know what I'm saying? Even if you're not
Yeah.
asleep and snap when I wake up, if you're just so fucking focused on whatever, like how Bill Cooper talks about football. You're so
Yeah.
fucking focused on football, or the only thing he knows is the third baseman on the Mets, so I guess baseball or whatever, you know what I'm saying? But
Yeah.
that's a hypnosis, you know what I'm saying? You don't know anything about the world, but all you know is about, like, fucking Brock Purdy. And that fucker
Yeah.
better win me a
I
goddamn
agree.
Super Bowl this
And
year.
I think it, man, this even kind of brings me into a realm of like, which I'd never thought of until just now, but like this new virtual reality phase. I'm not even, I wouldn't even say it's a phase. VR has been around for a while, but you're escaping into this. There's this new landscape that's not new, but it's new enough in the last decade of a metaverse escaping into you have a secondary life that you lead within a virtual reality via a virtual reality headset or something to where they've even had certain companies implement VR office spaces where if you work from home, you have an avatar where you're in a a virtual reality in a
Right.
fake office where you're typing on
And
computers that are
that
projected in VR.
excuse me, that leans more towards, like, transhumanism
Which
and the
this does
next
talk
step
about.
in the next step in human evolution or
Yeah.
whatever. We're all going to be mixed in with machine
Now
and
this
Elon Musk Neuralink, which is why I cannot fuck with Elon no matter how many W's he gives out. I cannot fuck with anybody who's trying to put a chip in people's brains, dude.
Yeah, I don't like that too much either. I don't dislike Elon for that. I just think in his mind, and this is my thing, and I could be wrong on this. I stand to be wrong on this. From what I see, I think Elon just sees this as a positive thing that could cause changes, but he's also been extremely outspoken on the dangers of AI and things of that nature, which also hint
But then he
maybe
puts a
I
fucking
spoiled
brain
something.
chip in your.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
told them
So
not to put it out. I told them how dangerous. You know what he reminds me of? That piece of shit Oppenheimer. I built a bomb. I built a brain chip for the head. I told him not to put the AI in it. I told him not to put the fuck. Shut the fuck. Anyway, I'm sorry. I go
I
on
also,
Oppenheimer
man,
rants too.
this is what I think. This is the outlook I do. And I'm not saying this about Oppenheimer, but man, there's one of the most profound things I've ever heard in life, and I think of it all the time. And I got this from Jurassic Park, one of the Jurassic Parks, that some of the worst things ever were done with the best intentions. And I have a feeling that, man, I don't think that just because someone does something bad that makes them inherently bad, but I also try to see the positive in
Oh,
people.
also,
But now if
yes,
somebody does
because
something
yes,
consistently bad, then yeah.
because
But that's my
that is a very
outlook on
good
people.
point because there's always the perspective. What's bad to
Yeah.
the conqueror, the conquered is good for the land of the conquered
Yeah.
because they get better life.
Yeah.
So there is that, yes, to a limit. Okay,
I
to
agree.
a limit. There is a limit to where I will out those awards, and I guess that is a good point. So I should be a little bit nicer, but he talks funny, and I won't be.
Yeah. Now I say this from the perspective of a Christian who, when you see, oh, he putting chips in heads, that starts raising a lot of flags for a lot of
Yeah, I mean,
Christians
that's
and non-Christians at the same
yeah.
time. Oh, mark of the beast. Oh my God. Which, yeah, it's a little eye-opening, but what
I
can we
feel
do
like
about it?
every fucking thing is mark of the at this point. You know what I'm saying? I mean,
Yeah.
the energy drinks are the mark of the beast, and the Pokemon card is the mark.
That's
And
just
I grew up around like the overly like the Southern Baptist types, and I know
yeah.
you grew up around them, and I know your religion is not in that crowd specifically.
Yeah. I won't even say I'm religious. I have my own beliefs and I am a Christian, but I am not religious. I do go to a denominational church, but I myself am not religious.
By the
So
way,
I'm sorry. Doesn't
anyways,
matter. But,
anyways, go ahead.
anyways, my standpoint with this is like, when you, from a Christian's perspective, if you are a follower of the Bible, at least prophecy and revelations, it very explicitly says the mark of the beast is going to be a marking or something on your hand or your forehead. So, or your head.
So
hand
the
or forehead.
scar
It's just,
of when they put the Neuralink in, man.
It just says something. So my thing is like, if it's not like in your hand or your forehead, then like biblically, if you're a follower of the Bible, that wouldn't be accurate. Like if it's not Pokemon cards, it's not Monster Energy drinks. And if there is symbolism on it, it's hidden symbolism. We don't speak ancient
What do you
Hebrew.
think about I've heard some talks lately, and I think it was from the guys on Nephilim Death Squad. I believe they were the ones talking about it. It was like technology itself being like being like the Nephilim, or the unbodied spirits of fallen ones, and like because they're the ones who brought the forbidden knowledge, or kind of like that loose type. And
Now,
it's
what
because
I
it's
say to
bringing
that,
knowledge, but it's also bringing a lot of destruction. I mean, you think about like that tribe, some tribe that was not uncontacted, but
they got him
quote unquote
addicted to
civilized.
pornography.
Yeah, and they gave them the Starlink or whatever, and gave them a bunch of computers, and then within a year or so, the elders are like, "Hey, man, our young guys are just addicted to fucking social media and porn. They're not doing anything." You know, so we have all this information, dude. I imagine like 4 generations ago, fuck, they would burn you at the stake for this amount of information. You know what I mean? This is all of it. This is all of the information. If you don't believe in the internet theory or whatever, but it's still like we're so stupid. We're so stupid. We're worthless. You know what I'm saying? I can't like. So do you think that it's the technology that makes us? Maybe it's just it is ourselves. Like we are.
So I wouldn't say that technology is what causes evil inherently. I think technology in and of itself is a good thing, but I think technology is going to be a tool that is used. Obviously, it has been a tool that is used for evil and for bad things. Obviously, I mean, even in its simplest form, okay, you have groundbreaking technology. In the 90s, you know, the internet was like the biggest thing. You had DSL and things. And then all of a sudden you had phishing attacks. You had malware. You had malicious software that would encrypt your files, and ransomware where they demand money. So evil things can be done with technology. But I think it's easy for people to say, oh, technology is the problem, yet they record a podcast on a computer system and upload it to the internet.
100%. I mean, I can't even tell you all the fucking devices. For somebody who goes around telling people that technology is the devil, I am fucked, buddy.
My deal is like, people want to talk. It's like,
that's a very good point.
Evil.
A very good point.
But my deal is like
anything is a tool. You
know
what I'm saying? Absolutely, anything is a tool like that. You know.
Well,
so it is good. It could be bad
used to dig,
because as good as
to kill someone.
As bad as it is, as bad as I've seen a million people die and shit on the internet, which I come across podcasts and creators that have put me down this road, put me down a different light. My life has changed. I won't say super dramatically part of the podcast, not like we're, but it's changed in ways like that are really positive. I do a lot more thinking. I do a lot less shitty Gen Z bullshit that I grew up thinking was so normal. I try to keep an open mind, like we say at the end of the show, and anyways, I don't want to go too far on a tangent. We are 25 minutes in and we barely touched any.
I'll go one more thing real quick.
Absolutely.
No, so the main thing with this is I will say, while technology can be used for evil as well, like, and this may be partially my frontal lobe finally developing all the way, but like as of now, one of the positive technology is I read more now than I ever have in my life. I read when I was, but I read more now than I ever have. I try to learn more now than I ever have in my life.
Yeah, and I also talk shit about people who want everything right to them, but I can't tell you how many audiobooks, which is still cool that I'm getting all the information. You know what I'm saying? There, but
I mean, it's a difference if you were to like say you had to read this audiobook to get this job or something like that, and then at least you take the time, invest yourself into doing it and learning it, so you have something that's like, oh, I could just be a piece of garbage and watch videos all day with no purpose in life and don't shower, but you're like, oh, I'm going to listen to an audiobook that makes me a little more productive and teaches me something while I'm doing something. So that's the last I'll touch on this. Let's get back to this.
Yes.
I did have a point I wanted to make. You were talking about like transcendence with the virtual reality thing we were talking about. There is on page 5 of this document it has a line that talks about psychosis or transcendence. So I think the portion I mentioned with VR is with hypnosis is everything's in a virtual reality. They tried to push this narrative. I really don't think it's catching on, but for a while there, virtual reality saw some traction because it was cool for video games or porn or other things.
Right.
And offices saw it as a thing. Well, we could have work from home environments and fake virtual offices. And then we can go into this and make our lives in this. We can sit at home, but at the same time, it's really kind of scary.
It is scary, and honestly, it was a big deal back then. I feel like it kind of fell off. I don't think it worked out for them as good as they wanted it to. Like that,
But
I
it
feel like
was
they put a lot of money. How much money did Meta put into the metaverse?
Oculus or the metaverse? Because it was Oculus, and then they changed the parent company is Meta. It's still
fucking $46 billion.
I wonder what their profits are off of that.
It can't be, dude. It cannot be
Let's
that
see.
much, dude.
Is Meta profitable? Let's see, as of 2024. No, they
12
profited.
billion.
Yeah, 13.5 billion they've profited as of 23 hours ago in this quarter. 13. So in the third quarter of 2024 is 13.5 billion.
How the
they run ads
Meta.
on
This
Facebook
is
and
Meta.
Instagram.
This is Meta.
This is Meta. This is the parent company.
Okay, I wanted the metaverse.
So they're still
specific.
Metaverse. Oh, well, I mean, it's all Meta. It's under the same umbrella.
I guess it's all
the
metaverse or whatever.
It would be like saying that Berkshire Hathaway took a deficit in 2023 from Duracell batteries, but they still own Geico Insurance and Kraft Foods. So I mean, it'd be the same thing.
Yeah, I don't know, dude. I'm just saying they definitely took an L on that. They definitely took an L on that.
It says
all right, so here's the transcendental meditation you were talking about. What were you saying?
Yeah. As it says, an old MetaQuest owner.
Fuck you, dude.
Yeah, they took a loss. I bought one.
Dude, fuck those guys. But I sold mine. I'll tell you why I sold mine, dude. I sold mine because I was playing Resident Evil 4, which is one of my favorite games in the world, and it was a really cool experience to play in VR. But I was playing the Mercenaries mode, and I felt something on my foot, and I went to like kick it, like budge it out of my way, and I second thought, and I was like, what is? Took my headset off, and it was my fucking toddler. My oldest, who was just becoming a toddler at the time, was laying across my feet, and I almost just sent her into the refrigerator because I played in the kitchen. It was my biggest open space, and I was like, she's too big. I don't have room for this anymore. And I sold it. And to be honest, I haven't really missed it since.
Mine was a dust magnet, and until we would hop on and play mini golf or something stupid.
Dude, we did fuck up some mini golf.
We played some mini golf. That was fun. All right, back to transcendence and Kundalini psychosis.
Kundalini. On the other hand, transcendental meditation works in a distinctly different fashion. So what is transcendental? In this technique, I guess I'm all asking you what it is in the middle of me reading. Intense and protracted single-minded concentration on the process of drawing energy up the spinal cord ultimately results in what appears to be a creation of the acoustical standing waves in the cerebral ventricles, which are then conducted to the gray matter in the cerebral cortex on the right side of the brain.
Okay. Was that a Google definition, or is that in this document?
This is in the document, man. I'm reading the document.
I was trying to find where you were. Are you page 5?
Yeah, well, it starts on page 3. Page 4 is the
okay. You were on page 3. I didn't realize it even brought in transcendental meditation on page 3.
So, conducted to the gray matter. So
I'm just looking. It's all graphs to show you the layout of the brain and where it would affect certain portions of the brain.
Right.
The homunculus, I'm trying to figure out how that ties in.
He goes so hard. He's the side that's like the animal side, the one that's like easy to hypnotize. You can just wave the shiny thing in front of him and it's like, oh, I like that. You know what I'm saying? But we're going to have to talk to somebody hint about that, because
Yeah.
they are, you know what I mean?
A little Easter egg, if
A
you
little
will. If you can
Easter egg,
figure
you
it
know what
out,
I'm saying?
you win 1 liter of edible oil.
It was 10-liter edible oil.
Edible oil.
Dude, God damn it, that threw me off. That's a really different than what I was about to take the direction. I was gonna say, hey, remember how like many people they had to cut open back then? They definitely fucking did not have the Google.
Yeah, if you figure it out, you win 1 liter edible
1
oil.
liter edible. Yeah, we're getting fucking banned off everything. We're fucked.
Don't blame me, okay? Blame the doom scroller.
Dude, I'm telling you, dude, I'm telling you, Instagram made me racist. Instagram made me see dead people. It's not my fault. But there is a lot of
stereotypical.
There is a lot of like increasingly racist shit on it.
Yes.
Too. Have you noticed that?
Instagram specifically. It's I don't see it on anything, which Twitter is my number one. I hop on Instagram like once every 3 weeks.
I only use Facebook and Instagram, which I'm over here I'm literally over here shit talking the metaverse, and my whole life is fucking absorbed in the metaverse. I only use those two though. On Facebook, it's just people I know sharing whatever shit post. But Instagram, the Explorer is just fucking like either people dying or people saying that all Jews are the problem of everything wrong in the world, which I really don't agree with. I really don't. And I've been quick to say shit like the Jesuits and stuff like that. And sure, if you want to fucking pull hairs, I guess. But I've also talked about the Zionists, and people are so quick to say that's Jews, but they're Christian Zionists. That's a big portion of Zionists.
Now, I will say, man, like my personal opinion on this is like, I almost don't even feel that someone can be a Zionist without being a politician. I feel like
that's what the definition is, because they have like fucking, maybe you can, they have like a obligation to Israel before America, basically,
because they're representing a body of people that elected them. So I mean, inherently, like, I don't even want to be like this, and I mean, like, I'm fine with other people having different viewpoints. I'm not degrading anybody else, but if I were a politician, I would be more of a Zionist more than likely, and Justin would hate my guts. But
yeah, dude, I mean, I wouldn't hate you, bro, like you said. I could.
Yeah.
But
now,
you know,
I say that from a Christian standpoint, biblically. That's just me.
Right.
But I understand that's not the views of everyone, and I'm not pushing anything on anybody. But going back to this, because we're kind of derailing a little bit.
I don't even know what the fuck we're talking about anymore at this point, dude. The gateway and the hemisync. Before we go to are you talking about the hemisync? Okay.
I was going to talk about page 7, topic 7. So Justin and I discovered this, and the reason why I found this interesting was not the fact that they're giving this esoteric knowledge on how you can enter a state of hypnosis or use transcendental meditation, if that's even how you say it. I think that's how you say it, transcendental meditation, to connect with some force that's higher than yourself, or to focus your brain waves and control your psychosis and things of that nature. I was interested in this document because not just the fact that the CIA is sharing this esoteric knowledge on how you could, advance into transcendental meditation or a state of hypnosis, but my thought was, why would the CIA care about this information? Why would they care about somebody sitting there and like a monk just meditating? It doesn't make sense. My thing is, like, the CIA obviously was, and from the look of this, they were just studying something that somebody asked them to look into. But I take no shame in saying that I do fully believe our government, this was 1983, this was declassified in 2003. So I take no shame in saying that this was undoubtedly around the time of the Cold War, used against people. You put somebody in a dark room, you force them to listen to the hemisync tapes with nothing, like a sensory deprivation type deal, no light, no sound, nothing but hemisync.
Maybe not the hemisync. All right, well, I'm sure the hemisync as
but
well as
right here
willing
it's
people. But they also just they use this as kind of like like you can fuck brain.
yeah.
Really mess with people like on purpose. Like obviously they've seen like shell shock and the 1,000-yard stare or whatever it's called. They'd seen shit like that, but they didn't know how to really make it happen like that, like on a dot.
Now,
you know what I'm saying?
My point with this is like when you're in a state of hypnosis, you can remember things that you wouldn't remember in your conscious mind. You're like you have to go to your subconscious because your recall memory is a lot more in depth that way, which is what influences a lot of your dreams and things of that nature. And hypnosis has been shown in many cases, or claimed in many cases, to help you tap into memories that you wouldn't remember in your conscious mind due to the way your brain stores information and knowledge. But as the Central Intelligence Agency, who is responsible for gathering intelligence on foreign nations or conflicts that are currently happening, for instance, let's say like the post 9/11 war on terror deal, like if they had somebody, they're like, we need information, we're going to hypnotize them and see if we can get more information out of them and things like that. That's how I think of this. I could be just real simple-minded with it, but that's how I think of it. Like, they have information we need to extract. We can't get it out of them willingly. Let's get it out unwillingly.
I mean that, and I mean, fuck, man, they gotta create their little warriors. You know, they were messing with people's heads with Ultra, so they can use them for domestic reasons as well.
And we have some more coming up soon regarding some of the doom scrolling things we were talking about. But Justin and I did spend about 30 minutes listening to these HemiSync tapes, which, by the way, a HemiSync tape. It's a series of tapes. Who was it created by, Justin, again?
Robert Monroe.
Robert Monroe was the one who founded or created the HemiSync tapes. And it's just different sound frequencies and different sound, like maybe the ocean or maybe static noise or high-pitched frequencies. And it's a series of like 5 30-minute clips of just sound frequencies. And some people still use them today and claim that they find
the Monroe Institute is
healing benefits.
Pretty big. Still got a website you can go to your whatever. All the stuff's on YouTube. Rather find it that way. A lot of people meditate to it. It in itself is not necessarily a negative thing.
No,
like we were just talking about earlier. Me and Ben, like we said, we were trying it. I would like to try it. I doubt I would be able to stay awake because you're supposed to do it. I think, or I guess meditating. I've never tried really meditating. I should probably. There's some things I need to try. But maybe I'll try normal meditating before I send my body to the realm.
Yeah. What I noticed though, and I feel like I may have been talking a lot this episode, Justin, so I apologize if I've talked more than you would like me to, but I had some ideas.
I need somebody to fill in the gaps, dude. I'm
a lot of people, like, they have to sleep to white noise or sounds of the rainforest or sounds of the ocean. And what I noticed in the HemiSync tapes was that some of those sounds were very, very, very similar to that of what the HemiSync tape was.
You just fucking blew my mind.
So
I've been like, I know I've been telling you for a while too that I have crazy dreams. I have crazy fucking, like, I'm there, I'm experiencing this, but it's not me. Like, and I know that's what a dream is, dumbass, but this shit is like real, bro. And I was just saying, dude, there's a fucking my computer in my is playing rain sound. Okay, and the sound machine in my kids' room playing rain sounds, and the TV in my living room is playing rain sounds because my kids wake up in the middle, transfer between the couch or beds. So we have 3 sources of rain sound. Dude, I wonder if my kids are just fucking astral projecting to the fucking because my daughter just wakes up just like trying to explain to me that she was just on Mars talking to some shit.
Bro, the HemiSync tape, the first one was just the ocean sound, and that's a common sound that people listen to for like sleep. So what if it's like you're transcending into a state of hypnosis and don't even realize it, and you're in a hypnotic state while you're sleeping?
You just fucked me up. I'm gonna throw on the Monroe tapes instead, dude, and my whole family is gonna wake up just hippies, like new people.
But if you haven't checked out the HemiSync tapes, the Monroe tapes, check those out. Listen to from the Monroe Institute, and you'll see what we're talking about. Because now that I think about it, if it's used to help achieve a higher state of consciousness or to tap into your subconscious in a state of hypnosis, you could have potentially just been hypnotizing yourself every night to get some sleep.
That's so sick, dude. That's good.
That's wild.
I've
been
MK Ultraing my fucking self. Did you want me to look up the light?
Yeah. So another thing that I was talking to Justin about, which also plays into a realm of hypnotic state or transcendence that can affect you unknowingly. So there was a doctor I was listening to the other day. I do not remember his name, and I will say he claims he was a doctor. I have no clue his credentials. I know he went to LSU. He said he went to LSU, and if you don't know, I am an LSU fan.
That's a motherfucking LSU boy right there, ladies and gentlemen.
I mean, you know what I'm saying? LSU,
yeah, your
Mike
blur's
the Tiger,
up, but you got Mike the Tiger there.
I got Mike the Tiger. LSU.
As long as I've known Benjamin since 8th grade, he has been a fucking massive LSU. Anyways, that is very irrelevant.
Anyway, that's what got my attention with the video. This dude started talking about experiments that were taking place in Mississippi, which is near the state I live, very close, very local to me. I live in Mississippi. You couldn't get my joke. Anyways, at Stennis Space Center and other research facilities where they were talking about this started with Operation Paperclip, which is where our federal government brought in Nazi scientists and other scientists from other nations to try and combat the Soviet Union in that time frame. But there was he talked about an experiment where they were in Mississippi and they had these rodents, they had rats, and they would hook electrodes up to their brain. They would cut them open, hook electrodes to their brain, and they were able to achieve and control them based on certain frequencies of electricity they were transmitting to their neurotransmitters.
Frankenstein shit, man.
Which really plays well into the backdrop.
Honestly, yeah, and I've heard about that before too, where they would like put them in a bull's head. They put it in a bull's head and then like had it charge, and then right when it would
go to a bull head,
they pressed a button and it stopped it in its tracks, and it's like oh, look what this technology can do, control this bull. You're just shocking its fucking brain, dude, and making it stop.
It started with a mouse, and they still do use electrode technology to lab test lab animals like rats, mice. It started with a mouse, then it went up to bigger things, and so they realized that you could do this with humans. And eventually, the doctor talks about that at one point, they got to where they figured out they could do this wirelessly without having electrodes via blue light frequencies. And guess what uses blue light? Any and every monitor, television, cell phone that has a screen on it in existence. Because people wonder, I've wondered, like, why don't they just use red light frequencies? It's easier on the eye. It's a lot less harmful when you're looking at it at long periods of times. People don't need blue light glasses to block blue light. But basically, and the term that's used for this mind control with blue light is actually a real thing called optogenetics? What is it called?
Genetics, yes, sir.
Optogenetics. So optogenetics is a biological technique to control the activity of neurons in your brain or other types of cells with different types of light. Particularly blue light is the one that brains and neurons are most responsive to. Very specific wavelengths. And nature.com.
Nature.com, by the way, that is the website that we're on. I'm not
very easy. I actually have another website that I'll read from as well. This is debrief.org, and there's an analysis on it, and it says, let there be mind control light. So if you're saying, we were talking about these apps that had certain light, it's not even like color. It's just the frequency of light in which they're using. This is how you get like RGB. They have red, green, blue. But blue light is the backing light of any monitor, screen, or whatever.
Also, like Facebook, which is the CIA's, what was it? It was Operation...
It's not MK Ultra.
It wasn't Facebook. It wasn't called
Oh.
Facebook, but it was the day that it shut down. Then
Yeah.
Facebook was registered as a company. It's slipping my mind what it was now, but the CIA was trying to make like how China has WeChat. They make all their citizens sign up for it, and that's how they get paid. It's their social media, it's their everything. The CIA was trying to come up with that way back in the day, and they're like, "Fuck this! This is too hard. Let's put it on this nerd." Or honestly, that's what they say. They really were like, "Okay, we're done with it. Let's make up this story with this nerd in Harvard that doesn't know how to code. Let's say that Zuckerberg made Facebook and give him all these millions or billions or whatever the fuck."
So they're I'm gonna read a
and
synopsis
it's all
from
blue,
this.
and
This
it's
is
all
a
completely
scientific-
blue. You know what I'm saying? The whole thing is blue and white. Is it? Yeah.
Anyway, so this is the analysis of the original research project. This is not the original, but this was a more recent analysis they did. So the analysis is titled "Let There Be Mind Control Light," led by director C. Justin Lee at the Center of Cognition and Sociality.
Justin as a
within the
middle name is
Institute-
crazy.
Yeah. Yeah. So at the Center for Cognition and Sociality within the Institute for Basic Science, and Professor Hyo Wan Do at the Korea Advanced Institute of Science and Technology. The researchers developed a tool they are calling Opto V-Trap. V-Trap. That's concerning to me.
Yeah, that sounds great. Yeah. Please, can I have extra of the Opto V-Trap, please?
Yeah, Opto V-Trap, the press release explains, is a light-inducible and reversible inhibition system that can temporarily trap vesicles. I'm thinking that's how you say it, vesicles. From being released from brain cells, with results published in the scientific journal Neuron. So, Neuron is also a scientific journal where this study was published as well. The system consists of a single light source that emits a specific wavelength of blue light. This light allows the team to turn on or off the release of these neurotransmitters, similar to hypnosis. How you focus one portion of your brain to block certain things from coming in and only focus on one thing, resulting in the ability to manipulate emotion and behavior at a chemical level. And the research team notes, depending on the particular area of the brain being targeted, so they can target very specific portions of your brain using blue light wavelengths. Very specific emotions and even behaviors can be induced or inhibited, depending on the desired result. This is a quote. The research team verified the usability of Opto V-Trap in cultured cells and brain tissue slices. The press release explains. Oh, that was the quote. The press release explains. That was their quote. Furthermore, they tested the technique in live mice, which enabled them to temporarily remove fear memory from fear-conditioned animals. So they would condition these animals to be fearful of things. Like maybe they would bring out a taser, let them look at it, let them smell it, and then tase the piss out of them, and then put it back down, and they were scared of the taser.
So
and then they would use and they would use the blue light to remove that fear or to turn off that fear.
Fucking crazy. And it's it's like if you were to take an animal in nature and take its fear away from predators, which they say is happening with some of the chemicals. That animals are losing their fear of predators, so they're dying at an rate because they're like, fucking, I'm chilling, bro. I'm the biggest, baddest frog in this fucking water, and a snake eats him up. You know what I'm saying? Like, so that, I mean, well, the frogs, they got an entirely other thing going on. Just ask Alex Jones. But anyways, you know, and
so
that is I can't understand a fucking word he's saying. I'm not asking him anything. We're got to his brain.
My biggest thing with this is I discovered this a few days after I found the analysis gateway document that me and Justin read over at the beginning of this. That kind of got me on this thing of like, hypnosis is a very real thing apparently, and was studied and investigated and likely utilized by the Central Intelligence Agency of the United States. Why wouldn't they use this? Was in 1983 they were doing this. You think in 2024 they're not using blue light wavelengths to control mind? I'm not saying that our government's out to get us, but if they wanted to, they now know. And the The product is called Opto V-Trap.
Ben is a nice person with an optimistic outlook. I think that our government is out to get us.
I think so too.
I
didn't
think
want to
so,
just
and
push
I
that on
think some of
everybody,
our
but
viewers will also think so, that our government.
yeah.
Excuse me for my Dale Gribble moment, but they are out to fucking get us. Okay, I don't know if it's for whatever reason. Oh, it's for all the money. They can print the money. You know, it's got to be some like karmic, some spiritual shit. There's got to be us fucking every single level, financial, on spiritual, on physical, on mental. It is. Anyways,
I was
Ben,
about to go off on another tangent. Not a tangent, but something very related to this. And I don't think I'm going to, because I don't think it has much backing based on the information we have on it. And I'll leave it at that. So sorry, guys. I was going to bring up something. I don't even know why I mentioned it. It's on my mind, and I was about to mention it.
you know, honestly, there's no reason for rationality or facts.
Okay. You want me to talk about what I was going to talk about? I was saying, what if something, okay, this is something that happened recently, and it's kind of a controversial thing, but it did happen. It's going to be a part of American history. The failed assassin who attempted to take out Trump.
He was definitely MK Ultra. Well,
oh, that's what I'm saying. Like, it could even be something like this. Like, okay, if it was, say it was a setup, which it's looking like it was, not even saying on one partisan or other, not Democrat or Republican or anything, from the outside in.
Well,
there's a lot of things
anybody
happening.
with a brain can look at that and say there was something set up about it, that it is not the exact story that we're being.
The director of the Secret Service stepped down, and
I go back and forth between like it's faked. The whole situation is where just like I'm now the brave underdog warrior, but then like the next day I'm like, that's stupid. There's no way he could have done that. They really tried to kill this guy, and I'm by no means Ben. I won't speak for Ben. I personally am not a Trump guy. I think life was better when he was around, but then he also made it to where life would not be better when he wasn't around, in an act of pain. And that's not sticking up for the heap of shit we've had since then. But I don't like any politician, anybody. I think when you get to that level, I don't think you're a good person. I don't think you can possibly. So that's where I stand with that.
I'll say, while both sides have done terrible things, I never will be a Joe Biden or Kamala Harris supporter, but it doesn't mean that I'm singing the praises of Donald Trump either. That's neither.
I think that's one thing, and everybody, as soon as you try to say like an anti-conservative thing, they're like, you fucking liberal. Or if you try to say a thing about the anti-liberals, they're like, you fucking conservative, you killing. It's like, dude, I don't sit with any of those fucking loony crowds, bro. It's just the same bird.
I won't even say like I vote every election cycle. I'm not going to say if I partisan agreement, but I mean, I will say I am very much a moderate. Very much a moderate. I am not a conservative. I am not a liberal. I'm not even Republican or Democratic. I vote based on what I think
and
our
like the
country needs
shooter,
at the
like
time.
the shooter, he was registered Republican. He was donating to Democrats. He shot
Act Blue.
From you know what I'm saying? It's so weird. There's something wrong. There was a phone that was pinged going from his house to an FBI building,
several
back
times.
And forth.
In DC.
They can't even tell the story. First he brought the ladder, then the ladder was there, then he didn't use the ladder at all, then he just fucking cartwheeled on the building somehow. It's all just like you know what I'm saying? Even the most basic, just average, I don't want to say normie, but you know what I mean, the most just average CNN viewer, I don't think anybody on this fucking planet could look at that and be like, oh, yep, that's exactly what CNN told me. And even CNN, I can't even say what CNN, because even they were like, yeah, this shit was weird, dude. There was some weird shit going on with this. But anyways,
that's without. I knew I was gonna get. We're not here
to pig size. You know what I'm saying? Me and Ben, we don't like either side, but we want to have an open discussion about it. And if anybody wants to talk about what they think would happen, we'd be willing to let you speak your mind on it, because we can go both ways. You know what I'm saying? I I don't think there's been enough time passed for us
It's
to
so
know.
new.
You know
It's
what
so
I'm
new.
saying?
But it's leading to this guy was MK Ultra and probably with
For
Opto
sure.
V
He was
Trap since he
definitely
was a
for
porn
sure.
addict. Yeah.
I will
Yeah.
definitely say that. If what's this kid's name? Cooks or Crooks? Is it
Yeah,
Cooks?
Crooks.
Crooks.
Something Crooks.
If
Thomas Crooks.
Crooks actually took shots at Donald Trump, he was MK Ultra.
Yeah.
To some
I'm
extent.
along those lines as well.
To some extent. Anyways, that's a joyful line to cut the episode on.
We're not going to talk about the CIA and interference.
Oh, we're
Regime
pushing it with
changes.
time.
So we're going a little
pushing
more
it with
political. So
time.
the political talk was not really meant to be controversial. It was meant to segue
Yeah.
into our last topic of the day. Justin has a clip, and we're not decided if we're going to show the video for copyright reasons, but the audio.
Yeah.
Or both may be copyrighted, but
they probably are. We'll just talk about it. We'll just talk about it.
Okay.
So this ex CIA head, his name's oh god, it's slipping my.
I was
now,
muted.
let me.
It was on Fox News 6 years ago in an interview.
Yeah,
that's what we're talking about. And the reason why we're not sharing it because we don't want Fox News coming beating our door down. When
yeah, because I didn't fucking curdle a certain nonsense. So basically, this guy goes on there, and she's like, "So have we ever like interfered in another country's elections?" And he's like, "Oh yeah." Yeah, but for the betterment, for democracy or whatever, you know what I'm saying? It's always for the betterment. It's for the betterment. And she's like, "Oh, well, okay. Well, what about now?" And he's like, and she's like, "Oh, okay. So we're not doing it anymore." And he's like, "Well, I wouldn't say we're not doing it, but it's for the better.
Of democracy.
It's for the better. It's for the better."
Which
so basically,
raises
he's saying, I mean, there's old interviews of like old CIA heads being like, "We do not do anything except gain information," and like, now it's a fucking joke. I mean, he's laughing.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And people are like, "Dude, we're going to countries." We're going to countries, and they're like, we're introducing them to democracy.
Yeah,
I'm gonna try not to laugh. Introducing them to democracy. They try it out. They elect somebody that's better for them than us, and we fucking kill them. And we're like, okay, yeah, no, I like this whole democracy thing that you guys are doing when it works for us. You know what I'm saying? I like that you guys, like, you know, and it's happened so many times, dude. Let me pull up.
Most recently, not us killing someone, but look at Venezuela. There's some crazy stuff going on in Venezuela.
Yeah, I guarantee you we're somewhere in there.
Dude, duh.
I won't even go through all these. And by the way, this is from our super secret trusted site called Wikipedia. I know we brought this up to you guys last time. We said we weren't going to tell everyone.
Don't tell anyone.
Oh, you know. But yeah, man, I won't even read through all of these. We'll just do it. I scrolled through all of it. To be honest, this is a lot. These guys are up to no good, man. And they're what they're saying is it's like we're putting protection between us and communism. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
How much fucking protection between us and communism do we need?
And it's crazy, bro.
And what is the level that we are willing to go? You know,
all this.
And the problem is communism it's not done the way they want it. They like the complete control part of communism. You know what I'm saying?
Which is modern day socialism, by the way. In my opinion, Justin doesn't share that sentiment, but
dude, I agree. I agree that it's not going. It wouldn't work, but it's one of those.
It's a good idea.
It's one of those like utopia. Like you just love to think about it. You know what I'm saying? You'd love to think about it. But
to me, it goes back to the Jurassic Park thing. Like, you know, some of the worst things ever were created with the best intentions.
By the way, I'm still scrolling through this. I'm not even halfway through this while we're still having this conversation. I've scrolled through Iraq like 3 fucking times, dude. Like, we cannot leave these poor people.
We've kind of
we're in the
explained
50s.
Yeah,
and I've scrolled through Iraq like 3 times. I'm sorry, Ben. Go ahead.
I mean, I think we've explained it pretty well. I mean, like the fact that our CIA openly admitted to at some point interfering with elections, and I'm not even like, look, on both sides of this election year, what we've heard is both sides saying, oh, we're here to defend democracy, save democracy. It's about democracy. We're going to defend and save democracy. And then the CIA 6 years ago goes, we only interfere if it's for the sake of democracy. But everyone who was calling election interference the last cycle, no matter what side you stood on, they were conspiracy theorists. They were wackos. They were nut jobs. But now, all of a sudden, 6 years ago, dude was like, oh, for the sake of democracy, the CIA might interfere, especially in foreign matters. Rigging other countries' elections. And there's a document that Justin's scrolling through right now that has tons of elections that the United States has interfered in via the CIA and other three-letter agencies, like maybe the big old bad NSA, who is, the IT department of the CIA.
Dude, and people talk about, when I say people, I mean fucking insane people, which is my kind of people.
Yeah.
They talk about how the wars in the Middle East that the U.S. gets involved in have been about something else, and that we're really looking at something over there and everything. Ben, if I could tell you how many fucking times I've scrolled past Iraq, and dude, so far, I'm not even, dude, this is just insane. And there it is again. And we just cannot leave these fucking people alone, man. We really like going and just fucking things up. Dude, if we can control our government as good as we control other people's government, I found the end, by the way, finally.
Oh, you did?
2022 in Venezuela. Weren't you just talking about Venezuela?
Matter of fact, it's also in 2024 in Venezuela, apparently, because, okay, I'm going to get on my soapbox.
President Donald Trump attempted to remove President Nicolas Maduro from office during the Venezuelan presidential crisis.
Now, it's the same person. If you don't realize this, Maduro is the same person that they're claiming stole the election. He's a massive socialist. He lost the election based on ballot counts. He sent out a private militia to go and loot the ballot boxes and destroy them.
Damn.
And then claimed he won. This is documented online. It's everywhere. You can see the footage. He has armed the military, saying that he's not going to transfer the power. He threatened everyone with military power. The military and the cops, some of them were switching sides. There is a massive uprising against the government in Venezuela right now that's taking place. It's pretty serious. And I'm not going to be too much of a tinfoil hatter here. Yes, I am. If you look at the election chart from 2020 in the United States and you look at the election chart in Venezuela, they are identical. One for one. The exact same. There's no difference. It throws flags to me. Me. But what's happening in Venezuela is, man, it's crazy. But if you haven't looked into it, look into the Venezuela events happening right now. It's pretty crazy. So Maduro probably should have been removed from office because he is a psycho.
Dude, listen, everybody should be removed from office.
I agree.
I think we should fist fight. I think that's how
I think we need as little government as possible.
What did Carlin say? It was everybody should do like DMT a bunch of times or something.
Yeah.
Anyways, I think we could go ahead and wrap that up there. That gets a pretty good cross. I mean, you guys,
all our viewers. I hope I haven't said anything to offend you or upset you.
Dude, I hope I have, honestly. I'm just kidding. Seriously, we're just being ourselves, man. We're just doing our thing. But yeah, the CIA, they are not your friends. Honestly, and it's the old adage, if the government shows up your door, just slam it. You know what I'm saying? They're not there to help.
Yeah.
Those are the most dangerous words when the government shows up at your door, knocks, and says they're there to help.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter whose government it is, and especially if it's the United States government, and especially if you're not a United States citizen, you're fucked. By the time you see them, you're fucked. I hate to say it, and I don't like to be. It feels shitty saying that because I just get to live in the bullshit world that they create with the big stick that they carry, And I mean, I guess thanks, whatever, But that's not a good feeling. You know what I'm saying?
And I'll say one other thing too, though, is if you just look at who founded and created the CIA, and you look at one major organization they were tied to, which we've talked about on this channel before, the Bush family and Skull and Bones, a secret society who we said promises power and wealth for life. You'd never have to work. You'd have wealth. You would be wealthy. not never have to work. I worded that wrong, but you
Yeah,
would find
right.
wealth and you would have a position of power.
You would never have to fear
Yeah.
collapse or
Yeah.
losing everything.
And both the Bushes, the dad, not Jeb Bush or anything, but George W. Bush and George H.
I wonder why
Bush.
Jeb didn't go. I wonder if it was like
He's too busy in Florida being the governor.
fucking Jeb. Anyways, ladies and gentlemen, I think we can go ahead and wrap that up here. We appreciate you coming and coming. We appreciate you coming and coming. We appreciate you coming and hanging out with your boys at the Esoteric Roundtable. We know we haven't been super duper good with the uploads lately, but we are busy boys, busy guys.
We got stuff
We're
in the
both
works.
working full time.
Working.
I do school full time. We're doing the podcast, man. I'm trying to read, but I'm learning to read. I'm 25, man. You know, and I'm just. We appreciate you coming by.
Into the next episode.
Yes, absolutely. The next one is going to be our best so far, we think. So until then, we will catch you next time. And please, please remember, for my sake and yours, to keep an open mind. Sweet.